Hello, welcome back to the channel, and this is a channel where we give you reviews, playthroughs, unboxings, and we generally like to talk a load of bollocks about tabletop gaming in general. And in this video we're going to be talking about a German dexterity game that is based on football or soccer if you are from North America. We're going to be talking about Tipp Kick, and in this game you'll be flicking a ball around a pitch, trying to get it in your opponent's goal. That will score goals and later win the game, right? So in this video we're going to be giving you a very brief overview of the rules. We'll tell you what we do like, what we don't like, then we'll come back and we'll tell you whether or not Tipp Kick is worth your time and bother today and in the future. So remember, if you're new here, please consider subscribing to this channel. Leave a comment in that section down below, hit the like button and all that bollocks, and we'll see you after this. So Tipp Kick, how do you play this game? So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to assemble the pitch. You're going to put the pitch in the centre of the table, and then you'll attach it to the barriers that go around the sides of it, right? You'll stick the goals on either end of the pitch, and you'll stick a goalkeeper on either end, and you'll take your striker and you'll put it on your side of the pitch, and your opponent will do the same. You'll take the ball and you'll put it in the centre circle, and then you'll be ready to kick off. You'll notice that the ball is actually like a sort of a die. Half of it's black, half of it's white, and this will determine who gets to kick the ball, right? So if the ball is black and you have the player with the black socks, then it will be your turn. If the white half of the ball is facing upwards and you've got a player with the white socks, then you'll get to have a go. So what you do, you'll move your player next to the ball, and you'll notice that the striker has got a little push button on the top, and you'll push the button. That makes the mechanism of his leg move forward and backwards, and you'll be able to kick the ball like this, right? You'll kick the ball, and if your colour is on the top of the ball, you'll get to go again, and the other player has to make sure that they're at least 2 player lengths away from your player before you kick the ball, right? If the ball hits the other player's hand, it's a free kick. And you have to remember that the defensive kicker is not allowed in their own penalty area, right? So if you have to retreat into the penalty box, you have to sit outside and let the striker do their damage, right? There's obviously corners, throw-ins. You cannot score from a goal kick or a throw-in, but you can score from a corner. The whole of the ball has to cross the goal line, right? And you can also lay down your defender if you want. Again, it has to be 2 player lengths away. You'll also notice that the goalkeeper has got a push button on the blue box, and if you press that, it dives left and right. There's also special keepers that you can get where they can dive forwards as well. If your keeper can get the ball, then the striker has to yield, and it's your keeper's ball. But aside from that, the rules are more or less the same as football. So you'll play 5 minutes per half. At the end of the second half, whoever's got the most goals will be the winner of Tipp Kick. So what do we like about Tipp Kick? So the first thing that we really like about this game is that you've only got control of 2 players. Well, really, you've only got control of 1, haven't you, really, because you're not going to be controlling the goalie and the striker at the same time. And this eliminates the major problem that I've got with other football dexterity games like Subbuteo, right? Once you flick your defender forward, there's not really any way for them to get back into position. They're automatically out of position, so this screws up your defence. In real football, the defender's going to stay where they are if they punt the ball upfield, but in Subbuteo, the defender travels with the ball and it buggers up your defence, right? You don't have that in Tipp Kick, right? Because you're going to be moving your striker or / defender around the pitch. You're not going to be flicking him up the pitch and he's not going to be out of position, right? So the fact that you're only ever in control of 1 player at once is brilliant. So the second thing that we really like about Tipp Kick is you can score some absolutely stunning goals in this game. Again, if we compare this to Subbuteo, the ball in Subbuteo is absolutely huge and it doesn't tend to leave the ground very often. That is in direct contrast to Tipp Kick. Dependent on how you position your striker, how far away from the ball you are, you can lift the ball over defenders. You can score stunning goals even from the halfway line or further back from that, and it's quite tactical as well because you're going to have to be manoeuvring the ball around, maybe tapping it really lightly in order to have another shot or have another go. So yeah, you can score some absolutely stunning goals in this game, right? So the final thing that we really like about Tipp Kick is that the rules are really simple. The only thing you've got to worry about is the fact that you can't score from goal kicks or throw-ins, right? Other than that, it's just a case of check who's in possession, move your player to the ball and press the button, right? So that leads to some really fast and frantic gameplay. There's no hanging about, and it can get quite chaotic. It gets your heart rate pumping, and you've always got to be on the ball. See what I did there? So what don't we like about Tipp Kick? So the first thing that we don't like about Tipp Kick, and this isn't applicable to every single set of Tipp Kick, because there's loads of them, right? But our particular set, and we've looked at a few others, is the setup can be a real pain in the arse. Whereas Subbuteo is just chuck a cloth onto a table, this you've got to assemble a barrier, and the pitch in our copy is made out of this sort of plasticky sort of material, and it feels like it could rip at any moment, right? That's not to say the quality of the pieces are crap. The actual players themselves are made out of this zinc alloy, which is really good quality. It does look a bit old, but that's the whole point, isn't it? If you want to play this, you're going to have to spend so much time setting it up and tearing it down, and it would have been nice if you didn't have to do that, but I can't really see any way around it, yeah? So the second thing that we don't like, well, not us, we quite like it, but other people may have a problem, is the random nature of the ball itself. It's very difficult when you first start playing this to control the ball. You might take a risk and try and knock the ball a short distance, and then it lands on the white side when you're the player with the black socks, right? It is a little bit random. It's like rolling a die to see who has possession every game, but then there is a little bit of an element of skill involved as well, so that sort of does mitigate it. But I can see how some people could get frustrated with the random nature of the possession. So the final thing that we don't like about this, and this does get on my nerves quite a bit, is the fact that the players are top heavy and they tend to fall over quite a bit. I mean, when you're defending, you sort of move your defender in a position where the attacker is most disadvantaged, and your player falls over. You go to reach it, the player takes a shot and it hits your hand, they get a free kick, right? So yeah, it can be a bit of a pain in the ass because they're made out of like quite solid metal when the players tend to sort of fall down drunk, you know? So to summarise, is Tipp Kick worth your bother today and in the future? So we are going to say yes, absolutely. How come we haven't heard of this before? I mean, I've been playing games for nearly 40 something years, right? And I've never heard of this game. This game was first released in 1924, and I've never ever heard of it until now. I just found it by chance. There's just some random thing come up on social media somehow, and I've checked it out and I thought, well, that looks fun. Let's go and buy a cheap copy of this, and I don't regret it one bit. This is without doubt the best football dexterity game that you can get today. It solves all the problems, well, mainly all the problems that I have with Subbuteo and all the other football dexterity games out there, and it's safe to say that it absolutely destroys Subbuteo. It's not without its problems. It can get a little bit too frenetic for my liking. It moves so quickly that you can end up with sort of disputes. So either you settle these disputes with a punch up, or you get a third person to act as referee. Especially when kids are playing this, they tend to say, well, did the ball cross the line? Yes it did. No it didn't. Yes it did. No it didn't. Yes it did. No it didn't. You know how it goes, right? Where the game moves so quickly and the ball flies through the air so quickly, if there's any sort of doubt as to what's happened, it can lead to disputes. There's the setup as well, which is a real pain in the arse. I mean, if you could just throw it on the table, it probably would be better. And I'm sure there's a set that allows you to do that. But yeah, Tipp Kick is a fascinating, fun, quick football dexterity game that we're sort of falling in love with, you know what I mean? So there you go, that's Tipp Kick. Remember, if you're new here, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. You wouldn't be new here then, would you? Hit the like button and all that shit. And we'll see you next time.